And welcome to the Sacramento State Dynasty. I am Vinny from vdubproductions, and in this video, we're going to go through the offseason for Sacramento State as they just completed season number 1, finishing with a record of 9-4. They were ranked number 25 going into their Cure Bowl game against Delaware, but as you can see, they fell to the Delaware Blue Hens in a 20-17 game, and a game that Delaware really dominated from start to finish, and really, I think Sacramento State looked a little lost out there despite the final score being so close the way it was. So hats off to the Delaware Blue Hens in that game. They earned the victory. But now it's time for us to go and see how this offseason will turn out here as we start looking at how the rest of the college football landscape turned out after we had after all these bowl games and stuff. And before we start looking at any of the off-season stuff, and as far as how the postseason goes, we're going to start looking at the stats here as we see starting off with the passing stats. We have Carson Conklin went a season of 235 for 351 yards for 2,496 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, that is a pretty good 4-to-1 ratio. Zion McKinney and Isaiah Scruggs did not play. Jackson Sharman only had a handful of snaps. I know he came in 2 of 2. He passed for a total of 0 yards. He only had 2 passes. One was for -1, and the other one was for a 1-yard touchdown and a game pass that he actually had to come into the game for when Conklin was injured. So he did have a touchdown pass. Rushing wise, we had Jamar Curtis. I mean, injuries did hamper him. That's why he only ended up with 875 total yards of rushing on 188 carries. Then we got Sincere Ronnie, 74 carries for 417 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bryant Collins, 867 carries for 381 yards, 3 touchdowns. However, though, he did fumble a lot towards the end of the season, and his carries were limited because of that. Then we have Davian Godley, 13 carries for 45 yards, no touchdowns. Then we have Karan Borders, 5 carries for 36 yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns. One of them was a 20-yard touchdown. And both of those were in the game against Ohio, the only 2 times he touched the ball in that game. As we look at all these stats here, keep going down here, and then of course we go to Carson Conklin, and these are mostly because he was sacked a lot. He had 81 carries for a -93 yards. He did have a rushing touchdown though, and he did actually have one 20-plus yard rushing run here. And now we look at the receiving. I mean, it was spread around. I mean, not many not really flashy numbers for the receiving, but, you know, we see Marcus Coleman with 38 receptions for 568 yards, 14.9 yards on average, 3 touchdown catches. Landry Burrell, 54 receptions for 534 yards, but he did not reach the end zone. Jason Moses, 32 catches for 480 yards and 2 touchdown catches. We have Jordan Williams, the senior. He ends his last season with 42 catches for 421 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then we have Jace Wilson, 15 receptions for 234 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kyle Kuntz had 19 receptions for 114 yards. Most of those were probably short yardage situations here. He had 5 touchdown receptions though. Jamar Curtis actually got into the action as well on the air. 18 receptions for 90 yards and a touchdown. Ontario Smith Jr., only 2 receptions for 30 yards. Bryant Collins, 7 catches for 22 yards. And then we have Luca Orvieto, 1 reception for 9 yards. Sincere Ronnie, 5 catches for 8 yards. I mean, he did, I think, had a loss on a couple of those because I say the longest was 12. And he did have a yard, he did have 21 racks. So we all look at all the other stuff, and then we see Davian Godley, 1 reception, -1 yards, and Karan Borders, 2 catches for -2 yards. And I believe there was no touchdowns there. We look at the blocking stats here. Josiah Vines only played in 5 games, but you know what? He took 58 snaps, did not allow a sack. Neither did Sheffield. McKay did not play a single game, so he can't really look at the stats here. Luke Slater, though, played in all 13 games. Didn't really play a lot of snaps, but he did play in all 13 games and not allow a sack. Then we have Jeremiah Cooper, only played 1 snap in 1 game. And then we have Garrison Blank, 12 games he played for 148 snaps, allowed 1 sack. Giovanni Kovat allowed 1 sack in 13 games and 53 snaps, followed by Brandon Sousa, 1 sack allowed in 257 snaps. Bryson Summers only allowed 1 sack in 654 snaps. And then we have Jackson Moore, 1 sack allowed for 130 and 139 snaps. Then we look at Kendrick Thompson, only 2 sacks allowed in 68 snaps. Hayden Frazier, 3 sacks allowed in 790 snaps, followed by Jeremiah Stallworth, 5 sacks allowed in 661 snaps. Josh Hector, 5 sacks allowed in 534 snaps, and he did allow, I think, a lot for the amount of games he played. He only allowed 10. He only played 10 games. He actually averaged like nearly over 100 snaps a game, so he allowed like nearly 1 sack for every 100 snaps. And then you have Vi Safoya, who played the most amount of snaps at 806, allowed 5 sacks. So we look at we're going to look at the total tackles here. Alex Rocha, 125 tackles, 23 TFLs, 7.5 sacks, 1 interception. And then we have Bugsy Silvera, had 113 total tackles, 5 TFLs, 2 interceptions, including 1 pick 6. Dante Antonini had 109 total tackles, 11 TFLs, a half a sack, and an interception. Ryan Carthion, actually 99 total tackles, 16 TFLs, 3 total sacks. He had an interception, and then he also did have a fumble recovery for a touchdown in the game against UMass. Miles Tucker, 87 total tackles, 2 TFLs, a sack and a half, and 3 interceptions. And then we have Elias Mulliken, who had 87 total tackles, 5 TFLs, and an interception. Malachi Nichols, 75 total tackles, 7 TFLs, no sacks, but he led the team with 5 interceptions, 59 total interception yards, including the pick 6 against Delaware. One of the bright spots in that game. Then we have Nico Clem with 74 total tackles, 7 TFLs, 1 sack. Xavier Williams did have the school record for a while with the most sacks of the season, but he was held off the sack sheet against Delaware. But you see Xavier Williams, 56 total tackles, 33 TFLs, 17.5 sacks. But he was outdone in the sack department, at least, by Miles Bailey, who did have 36 total tackles, 25 TFLs, 18.5 sacks. That is not just a school record, but a Mid-American Conference record as well. Will Weber, 34 total tackles, 15 TFLs, 7 sacks and an interception. Dante Thornton had 29 total tackles, no TFLs. Let's see, Diesel Gordon, 27 total tackles, 4 TFLs. Zay Adams, 26 total tackles, 19 TFLs, 10.5 sacks. Derek Houston, 21 total tackles, 13 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. Then we have Diego Davis with 20 total tackles, followed by Tim Thomas with 20 total tackles, 1 TFL, 2 interceptions. Darson Genty, no relation to Ashton Genty, 17 total tackles. Then we have Lavielle Nixon, 11 tackles total. And then we have Adam Taylor, 7 total tackles, 3 TFLs, 1 interception. Jamil Howard Jr., 3 tackles, 2 TFLs, a sack and a half. As we keep looking at all these stats here, is really not much more of note. Punting or kicking wise, we see Josiah Stovall, 21 of 24, 87% for field goals wise. As long as it was 37, but he did hit for all 32 extra points. Punting wise, Wyatt kind of a drag. 69 punts, very nice 69 punts, 3,364 yards, 48.8 yards on average. He had a net yardage though of 2,827 yards with a net average of 41 yards a punt. 16 times he hit it from inside the 20, 10 touchbacks, as long as it was a 65-yard punt. Now we can look at the kick returns here, as Jason Moses only had 1 return for 18 yards. Burrell, 2 kick returns for 33. Jamar Curtis, 9 returns for 140 yards. Ontario Smith had 1 kick return for 15 yards. Sincere Ronnie, 8 returns for 118 yards. Jace Wilson led the team with 23 returns for 339 yards. And then we have Bryant Collins, 2 kick returns for 28 yards. And then we look at punt returns here. Jace Wilson was the primary returner, 35 returns for 373 yards, as long as it was 24. Landry Burrell, 4 returns for 50 yards. Jason Moses, 2 for 6 yards. Ontario Smith Jr. had 1 punt return for 13 yards. Let's look at also the All-Americans here, as we see going down the list here. We don't think we have anybody in the first team All-Americans. We don't have anybody in the first team All-Americans. Let's look at the national All-Americans for second team All-Americans. And we do have Xavier Williams, a second team All-American. That is the only All-American that we have. And now we look at the national freshman All-Americans here. We keep going down the list. I would be shocked. No, I'm not shocked to see that Ryan Carthion is on the freshman All-American list for the end of the season. Congratulations to him. Look at the week 1 bowl games here, as we see Iowa State edging out Florida Atlantic in the Frisco Bowl. Arkansas State over Buffalo in the Salute the Veterans Bowl. In the Boca Raton Bowl, we had App State over Liberty 24-6. New Mexico State edges out Old Dominion in the New Orleans Bowl. And at Gasparilla Bowl, Louisville in a close one over UConn. We got a lot of close bowl games here, and we start off now looking at the college football playoff first round here, where the 5th-seeded Ole Miss Rebels over BYU 34-26. USC 34-26. The 11th-seeded USC Trojans 34-26 winners over the SEC champion Missouri Tigers. And in a game between Franchise Gaming and Husker Ninja, the 10th-seeded LSU Tigers 35-21 winners over the 7th-seeded Nebraska Cornhuskers. And in probably the biggest blowout in the first round game, yeah, number 8 Texas Tech obliterates number 9 Georgia 48-14. La Tech over North Texas in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Jacksonville State edges out Hawaii in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. And the Hawaii Bowl, Tulsa 38, UTEP 23, as we saw Delaware over Sacramento State in the bowl game that we just watched. And then we have Michigan, number 24, Michigan edging out Kansas State 18-17 in the Rape Bowl. In the 68 Ventures Bowl, Miami of Ohio obliterates Marshall. Then we have USF edging out Wyoming in the Armed Forces Bowl. In the Birmingham Bowl, number 21, SMU over UNLV. Texas destroys Utah 42-10 in the Liberty Bowl. In the Holiday Bowl, Fresno State over Clemson 42-34. In the Las Vegas Bowl, number 14, Boise State edging out I believe that's number 18, South Carolina 20-16. In the Fenway Bowl, Florida State 17-10 winners over Bowling Green. A shout out to my friend Cass, a Titan, who's a Florida State fan. TCU over James Madison in New Mexico Bowl. Then we have UCF upsetting number 13 Virginia 28-23 in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Eastern Michigan defeats North Dakota State 30-24 in the Arizona Bowl. In the Military Bowl, we have Pitt 34, Navy 20. Baylor over Oregon State 33-16 in the Alamo Bowl. In the Independence Bowl, Houston 35, Kennesaw State 28, and then Indiana defeats their Hoosier State rivals 31-23 Notre Dame in the Music City Bowl. And now we look at the college football playoff bracket for the quarterfinals here. We have number 5 Ole Miss against number 4 Memphis in the Cotton Bowl. Texas Tech, the number 8 seed, will take on the number 1 seed UCLA Bruins in the Rose Bowl. The number 11 seed USC Trojans will face the number 3 seed Oklahoma Sooners in the Fiesta Bowl, while the number 10 seed LSU Tigers will take on the number 2 seed Miami Hurricanes in the Peach Bowl. And now we look at the Week 2 bowl games here. We start off with the ReliQuest Bowl. Ohio State over Akron 48-6. No surprise there. Number 23, Minnesota 31-10 winners over the Air Force Falcons in the Cheez-It Bowl. Then we have Tennessee 38-28 winners over the Colorado Buffaloes in the Texas Bowl. In the Sun Bowl, number 20, Duke over Ohio 31-21. And the college football quarterfinal game, we have number 3 Oklahoma over number 11 USC 35-24 in the Fiesta Bowl. And the LSU run will come to an end as they were just edged out by number 2 Miami 36-35. Texas Tech upsets the top-seeded UCLA Bruins 31-17 in Pasadena. Meanwhile, we have Ole Miss, the number 5 seeded Ole Miss Rebels, 27-21 winners over the number 4 seeded Memphis Tigers. In the Gator Bowl, Alabama over UAB 49-13. In the Xbox Bowl, we have Western Michigan edging out number 22 Oregon. Haha, suck it, Ducks. Then we have California all over Georgia Southern 55-34 in the First Responders Bowl. And in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, number 19 Penn State 42-24 winners over Wake Forest. As we take a look at the college football semifinal now, how the bracket looks like is we see number 5 Ole Miss taking on number 8 Texas Tech in the All-State Sugar Bowl, followed by the number 3 seeded Oklahoma Sooners against the number 2 Miami Hurricanes in the Orange Bowl. And the winners of those 2 games will go to Las Vegas for the national championship game. And now that these were the only postseason games still left in college football, we just go through the bracket here as we see number 5 Ole Miss going to the national championship game, 32-27 winners over number 8 seeded Texas Tech. And then we have number 2 seed Miami over Oklahoma, 38-28. So it will set up a Miami versus Ole Miss national championship game. And your national champion for 2026 for season number 1 of this Hornets Dynasty will be the Miami Hurricanes, winning 37-34 over the Ole Miss Rebels. Sorry, Elmers. You came close. You actually got to the last game this time, but didn't win it this time. It is now time to see if we can upgrade the facility here to make it a competitive facility, because I know there's going to definitely be players who are going to recruits that are going to want to have decent facilities here. We confirm it. Purchase a next level 2 facility. Your upgrade will take effect during the next preseason. All right, so let's do this, guys. Looking down the list here, and let me tell you, some of these NIL players, we're just gonna have to lose a lot of players here, because some of them are not worth keeping, because we want to use some of these to try to get get players from the portal, as well as any recruiting, last season recruiting here. As we see Will Drag, we're gonna have to keep him. Weber, I want to keep. Godley, I'm sorry. Carthion, as much as great he is, he's going to be asking for too much. Ontario Smith Jr. And Stallworth, unfortunately, we're going to have to let go. Houston, I want to keep. He's worth it. Conklin, I think it's worth keeping. Malachi Nichols, definitely worth keeping. Same with Nico Clem, but the rest... Kyle Kuntz, I kind of want to keep him. He's probably going to be one of the more expensive ones, but he's definitely somebody we can use in, shortage situations. Sharman, goodbye. The rest of these people, we're just going to have to say goodbye. Alright, too, because they're probably not worth it. And now that we officially start in the off-season portion of this stream or this video here, as the season actually comes to an end, we got a verbally commit from one of the few players who did not commit to this team, and Noah Hicks, the 1-star Sam. Let's look at it here now. Look at the players who are leaving Sacramento State. Jamil Howard Jr., Curran Borders, kind of wish we could have kept him. Bryant Collins, we're going to say goodbye to, and this one's probably the worst one I'm going to say goodbye to, and that is Ryan Carthion, as well as Landry Burrell. Ontario Smith Jr., sad that he has to go. A lot of these players I'm sad to see go, but then some of them probably were not going to have enough anyway. Let's see here. Jackson Sharman, unfortunately, he's gone. Hayden Frazier, Ivan Moore Jr. These are all the ones that are going to go to the portal. Actually, let's see if we can get See if we can at least persuade him. Yeah, he hasn't been persuaded. I know the rest of them are not going to want to. The rest of them are not going to want to come back. And then Matthew Coleman is graduating, so we're going to lose him, as well as Tim Thomas, Malik Tullis, Deontay Thornton, Jordan Williams. We're going to miss him. Donovan Turner, Elias Mulligan. We're going to miss him, as well as Demetrius, Dante Antonini as well, Darson Genty, Jamar Curtis. Kind of wish he would have stayed a little healthier. He probably could have got him 1,000 yards. Mike Melanson, the punter, I mean, he was going to be gone anyway. Xavier Williams, we're definitely going to miss him. Let's see here. Zay Adams, we'll miss him. Brandon Sousa. Alex Rocha, we'll miss him. Definitely. And Miles Bailey, we're definitely going to miss him as well. Unfortunately, nobody got drafted by Sacramento. Nobody from Sacramento State got drafted into the NFL, sadly. So we're going to start off with the off-season recruits, the ones that either have not verbally committed or given us a hard commit yet. So we have, of course, the three, like Orlando Lenovo. We given him a visit for week 1 this off-season, as well as Nathan Melvin. We gave him an off-season week 1 visit for the off-season. Noah Hicks, who actually visited during the bye week during the regular season, he actually, as I said, was a verbal commit. And then we're going to start adding players that we really need, such as like players that we have zero, that we've offered 0 for. So like stuff that we really, really need, like, for example, 1-star Brandon Ramirez from Hanford, California. We've offered him, gave him some NIL, as well as Terrence Shelton Jr., the halfback from Franklin, Wisconsin. Could try to get him from the portal, as well as we got 2-star wide receiver Anthony Garcia from Sacramento. It would be cool to get him to come to us from the transfer portal, as well as Carter Shaw from Atherton, California, in the Bay Area, number 5. We offered him a significant amount of NIL to try to get him. Corey Thompson Jr. From San Diego, California. Hopefully we can get him to come. We're 4th on his list. We're the only one that has offered him. As well as Ezra Funa from Anaheim, California. We offered him some NIL, a 1-star defensive tackle. And then we have a 1-star strong safety, Marcus Ramon Edwards from Lubbock, Texas. Hopefully we can get him. We're number 1 on his list. You get 2-star right tackle Orlando Lenovo from verbally committed to Sacramento State from El Cerrito, California. And now we have a hard commit in Noah Hicks, the 1-star Sam from Tucson, Arizona. Now looking at the next recruiting after everything was updated here, as I said, Noah Hicks, the hard commit. He is definitely coming to Sacramento. Orlando Lenovo is a verbal commit. Melvin is still yet to verbally commit. He is probably one from the... we kind of would like to get him, try to get some talent here. Brandon Ramirez now puts us as top of his list, so he'll have a visit for this week, as well as Terrence Shelton Jr., number 1 on his list. Same with Anthony Garcia, the 2-star wide receiver from Sacramento. Carter Shaw, a 2-star wide receiver, now puts us on top of his list as he has a week 2 visit. Corey Thompson Jr., the transfer portal from San Diego, California, the 1-star receiver. He is now visiting next week. We're number 1 on his list. Ezra Funa, still not ready for a visit yet, but we're now on top of his list. But we are in a dead heat contest with Colorado State. And then Marcus Ramon Edwards, we're number 1 on his list still, but you see UL Monroe is creeping up. I mean, he probably would consider them because it is closer to home to him than Sacramento is at Lubbock, but we definitely have to give him the hard sell on this one. Here, Carter Shaw didn't even have to verbally commit. He is now hard. He gave us an immediate hard commit here, the 2-star wide receiver from Atherton, California. Shaw is now a hard commit. We still have a few more prospects. We still have Lenovo. He is still a verbal commit. Nathan Belvin, we're still on top of his list. We gave him a soft sell. Same with Brandon Ramirez. He is not verbally committed to us yet, but it looks like he might be coming to us, as well as Terrence Shelton Jr., Anthony Garcia. We're the only ones that gave him a visit and an offer right now in the top 5. And we got Corey Thompson Jr. visiting this week. We're the only one that has offered, and it looks like he could come to Sacramento. The one that is very critical right now is Ezra Funa, the defensive tackle, the 2-star defensive tackle from Anaheim. As I said, Colorado State still on our tails right now, but he is set to visit this week, as well as Marcus Ramon Edwards, who, by the way, I believe UL Monroe has taken the scholarship off the table, I believe, because I think they did offer him last week, but now it is off the table, down to the top 3 here. We'll see how things will go here as we're about to simulate week 3 recruiting. And we finally got right tackle Orlando Lenovoy to actually hard commit to the Hornets, the 2-star right tackle from El Cerrito, California. As well as we got Ezra Funa, a 2-star defensive tackle from Anaheim. He decides, hey, I'd rather be in Sacramento than go to Fort Collins. Then we have Marcus Ramon Edwards, who now commits to Sacramento State as well, the 1-star strong safety from Lubbock, Texas. Nothing much else to say here, so we are just going to max everybody out here. We give them the hard sell plus the 10 points for the DM the player. So we have Melvin Ramirez, Shelton Jr., Garcia, and Thompson Jr. We're maxing them out here in this final week of the recruiting session for the offseason. Let's see how it goes. All right, so we do get Brandon Ramirez, the 1-star commit from Hanford, California, out of the transfer portal. Terrence Shelton Jr. from Franklin, Wisconsin, the 1-star halfback. He comes to the Hornets. Followed by Anthony Garcia, the 2-star wide receiver. He's coming back home to Sacramento State. With Corey Thompson Jr. from San Diego, California. He's staying in the Golden State as well, the 1-star wideout. And then we have finally the left guard, Nathan Melvin from Draper, Utah, the 2-star commit. He is coming to Sacramento from Draper, Utah. And now we see for the Hornets here, they finished in the 124th recruiting class in the entire country. As I say, only 2 3-star recruits, 7 2-star, and 28 1-star recruits. As you can see, some of these schools, they were able to get more 2-star recruits and more 3-star recruits. Unfortunately, we finished near the bottom of the recruiting class. I mean, Kent State ended up with the worst class at 138. As you can see, UMass not too far behind them. But unfortunately, I thought we probably could have had a top 100 class, but the transfer portal and we didn't get enough talent-wise in the portal. Training results here. Last season, we only had 1 player over an 80 overall. Now we have 2 players that are 80 overall here, as we have Will Weber that went up to 82 overall, as well as Carter Shaw, as I said, the transfer who just actually ended up being moved to an impact player. And we see a lot of high 70 players, so I think this is going to be a little bit of a better talented team depending on who's still with us. Here, as we don't have the talented. I still think we're going to have a higher talent than 71 overall going into next season here, but we still have a lot of 60s as well. Going to be really curious to see who we're going to have to cut, because none of these include any of the incoming freshmen that are coming in now, that were from the recruiting class, that were from high school, that are incoming freshmen. Sadly, we actually have gone down in overall now. We are now only 60 overall with a 64 offense and 56 defense. Oh, this is probably going to be a very long season coming up, and we'll show you exactly why I think it'll be a long season. And we will be looking at the schedule for season number 2. If you watched the end of the last video, you knew exactly what the non-conference opponents were going to be. We start the season off in Berkeley at California, followed by the conclusion of the home and home series at North Dakota State. Then we'll keep the FCS team aboard here, as we have FCS West, which will be San Diego Toreros in 2027 for the Hornets. And then, because I had to fill out some things, as I mentioned in the last video, it's going to be a home and home series with Nevada. They'll be hosting Nevada this year, and then I think next season they'll be at Nevada. And then we start conference play at Eastern Michigan, which is how it started off in season number 1, but this time it's week 5 and not week 0. Then they're on the road at Ball State, so we'll have the Ball Sack Bowl again in Sacramento, or in Muncie, Indiana. Then at Buffalo, which we did not play last year. Who we did not play last year, by the way. And then we finally get an off week, and then we'll have a home game against Central Michigan. Then we host Akron, a team that we did not play last season. Another team we didn't play last season in Miami of Ohio. They'll be coming to Sacramento as well, followed by the Ohio Bobcats coming to Sacramento for a second straight season. And then we'll have senior day, or no, that is senior night actually. And then we'll have the season finale at UMass, who we actually beat last year. And the quarterback from there, I think he's still seeing shadows of the Sacramento State defense as he got sacked 15 times. Go and watch that game, by the way. Then it's Army-Navy week, followed by the Mid-American Championship game, if we make it that far. Next video, we will have the actual recruiting board. So I want to actually have a separate recruiting class video coming out for season number 2. Look at the initial recruiting board, and I will tell you it will be a long recruiting board once again. Hopefully we can get some commits coming in, but that is where that's where I'm going to be leaving it off here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment on this video, and if you haven't done so yet, if you want to see any more Hornets content as well as my Madden Raider franchise for Madden 27, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do come out. And in the description down below will be a link to my Cash App if you're able to support me financially, as well as where you can follow me on X and Instagram. And with that, I am Vinny from vdubproductions, and I am signing off.